Welcome in, everyone. We are going through round 2 of my first ever classical tournament, and it is a fun one because this is a welcomely short game. So sit back, relax, and make sure you don't fall for any errors like my opponent did in this game. My opponent was 1600chess.com. I didn't know that until after, but this was definitely the easiest game of the tournament. The first game took like 2.5 hours, so it was a war by my standards, especially for the time control. But yes, e4, e5, and here I am. I'm like, let's play the Vienna, baby. Let's do it. And no copycat, unfortunately. You know that I love the copycat Vienna. I'm probably gonna make a copycat Vienna PGN and probably just list it on Etsy for like $10. So I'll give you all my tips and tricks to play the copycat Vienna. But for now, we don't get into that. Okay, and then h6 is interesting, and this tells me that my opponent is not very comfortable, because what the heck is h6? So here I played f4, which the computer is always like, I don't know about h4, but like practically you know what to do. They finally bring out the dark square bishop, and you always gotta wonder, okay, after like d6, the knight can go to g4, and there's always like this annoying little threat here, like a reverse fried liver. But no worries, like if you have enough experience, you should be able to deal with it. D6, and here I was like, here I'll play h3 because I don't want to deal with any of this. So maybe that's not a great move, but it's all good. Queen e7, perfect. Let's also play queen e2, and at this point I was like, let me take, and here's my calculation. f5, you go back, and I played knight a4. And I was thinking about a bunch of different things, but I really just wanted to take this dark square bishop. No matter where you go with it, it's going to be captured. So that way I don't have a huge like glaring hole on all these dark squares, because all my pawns are on light squares. My opponent opted for knight d4. This is totally fine, but it's not fine if you miscalculate. And here I took like a solid 3 to 4 or 5 minutes just to make sure I wasn't making any errors, because a huge exchange is about to go down. Okay, you're thinking, all right, knights see each other, knights hitting the queen, and also knight can take the bishop. So what do? Do you, chat, take the knight here? Do you take this? Oh, also, by the way, the knight's hanging. So candidate moves, knight takes d4, knight takes c5, and those are pretty much the only two candidate moves, because your knight's hanging. What do? Pause to solve. Knight takes c5, because yes, knight takes queen is dangerous. Also, knight takes f3 is with check, so you gotta be aware of that. But yeah, they should have just taken the knight with check, but they got greedy because they wanted the knight takes e2. They wanted to take the queen, but this is a huge mistake. Why is this a huge mistake? Because now I can take their queen, and okay, sure, they can take back, but where they were like, let me take another piece before I lose my knight, because then I take and they take, right? Wrong. They forgot that when knight takes f6 is played, it comes with check. Did you hear that sound? That was a sound saying that the king is in check, so they had to take, and then I took, and boom. You look at the board, 2 rooks, 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 8 pawns. Oh, what's this guy? Oh, an extra knight? Perfect. And basically the rest of the game is just me converting. I played some pawn moves because I was like, okay, let me just stop him from pushing through. I wanted to instigate this. And I was like, okay, if he takes, like, I'm pretty happy. But anyway, I put some pressure on this. I honestly, I'm just going to blitz through this because the rest of this game is just about converting, and I made some really crazy moves. Like, crazy in the sense of, like, my brain was off, and I was just, like, way too comfortable. But basically, where is it? Okay, I came through with this. I was trying to trade off and create a pass pawn. So, right, when you're trying to convert, it's like, okay, what's the easiest way? Go promote, win material, or get a queen, right? And the easiest way would be if he took, and then put the rook behind it and go forward. And worst case, you bring the knight to hit the rook, and you're good to go. So if you have trouble visualizing, rook g1 here. Oh wait, I don't know, literally any move, and then I can go like g7. You come closer. I go check here. I fork you, or any of the above. But basically, even if this happens, like, where's this rook going? So, my opponent did not take because of those reasons. Instead, what is going on? Oh, wait. Excuse me. He did take. Just seeing if you're awake. He actually did take. Okay, so I was going through with exactly the plan I explained. Except instead of going over this way and pushing g7, I did this way less accurately. I was like, oh, like, I got a fork. And notice how I grabbed the small fork, because it's not a real fork. King moved this way, and I picked up the knight. I touched the pawn, and I was about to take the pawn off, but I was still holding the knight. And I was like, wait. Hold on to your horses. Literally hold on to your horses. Because I put the pawn back down, and I moved my knight back here. I was like, wait, this could be catastrophic. So I moved my knight back. And I was so nervous because I was like, oh my god, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, like, make a scene about this, but it's touch move, right? Like, he was like, yeah, it's touch move. So I was like, okay, I'll just move back here. And, yeah, basically, my issue was that after knight takes, then knight b8. And sure, I can, like, go back to knight d5. But now he comes through, and it's a little bit annoying. I still have a passed pawn. I still have a passed pawn that he has to deal with. But it's a very active rook compared to the previous position where everything's closed. It should be winning. It's just like I had a headache-free win, and then it would have been annoying. But apparently, chat is saying that after I touch the b pawn, if I touch the b pawn, then I have to take it, even if I was like holding on to my knight. So, yeah, fortunately, I guess my opponent wasn't too much of a stickler. He was like, yeah, that's fine. Let's just. Obviously, you didn't want to do that, so just go back. No, I really was like, oh, this. I felt like Sam Sevion. I was like, I'm gonna make a fool of myself and just like go crazy with this this move here, and it's gonna be viral within the local chess scene there. But anyway, we move on because he allowed me to move my knight back to e3. I guess technically I shouldn't have been able to, but now I just play knight f5, and the idea is that I'm taking this. And I do, and he resigns. He was just like, screw it. Like, I don't want to, like, play out this slow death of having both pawns march down the board. So, nice, easy win. But more of the story is, 1, don't touch pieces unless you're 100% sure and you've already looked at all counterplay. Number 2 is just push the passed pawn. Like, actually make it a threat to the fullest extent. Get the simplest game plan to convert and execute. I went around with a little bit of like extracurricular activities for the night. I didn't need to. I just didn't need to. But we're all good. We got the win anyway, and I got a little bit of an extra rest before the next round. If you want to check out that next round, then go ahead and click on this video right here. Happy learning, everyone.